This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good Sunday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're learning more tonight about a chase that led to a deadly shootout in Wadena County. 2 drivers are dead and 2 officers were shot in the gunfire exchange. We've just learned that the officer injured in the shooting has been released from the hospital and is recovering at home. Authorities say it happened around 9:30 at the intersection of 205th Avenue and 270th Street South. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling just got back from the scene. He joins us now with the details. Aaron?
Thanks, Courtney. One man told me that this type of police activity never happens in Sebeka. When I got there around 11:30 last night, officials were still in the midst of their investigation of the deadly shooting that took place on the corner of 270th Street and 205th Avenue. Jump forward to 5:30 this morning. When I left, they were still out there with a BCA vehicle. Since then, the Wadena County Sheriff's Office released out details on what went down last night. After Wadena County deputy pulled over a motorist and an altercation began. Soon another person arrived and so did a Sebeka officer. One of the motorists began shooting at the officers and one of the officers returned fire. All 4 involved were shot in the process less than 10 miles from Sebeka.
Well, we were driving home from Bemidji and we saw cars stopped on the road and I was like, what the heck is going on? So we finally get to her house and we see an ambulance just bailing down the dirt road. I was like, okay, this is definitely not normal.
Courtney, we are still waiting for more information from the Wadena County Sheriff's Office.
All right, thanks, Aaron. You can find this story on our homepage. Download the VNL News app. Minnesota Senator Tina Smith is asking regulators to investigate possible price gouging of natural gas, not only in Texas, but here in Minnesota and other states. The sub-freezing temperatures and the ensuing disaster in Texas has led to a surge in natural gas demand and a sharp increase in prices. Starting in mid-February, market prices for natural gas rose as much as 100%. The impact is expected to eventually hit Minnesota gas consumers.
I asked the Department of Energy to look into potential price gouging and also look into other tools we have at the federal level to mitigate the impacts of this. And the other thing that's happened, of course, is that in Minnesota, the Public Utilities Commission is looking into what the state can do.
Smith recommends that those having trouble paying their energy bills turn to Minnesota's Energy Assistance Program. Canada's Prime Minister says while he's disappointed in President Joe Biden's decision to halt Keystone Project, he won't pursue it. The project would have brought oil from the tar sands of Alberta to the Texas Gulf Coast, passing through Montana, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma.
I think there's so much we can do together that I don't spend too much time worrying about the tension points that'll always come up in our relationship, but we'll work through them, particularly given the alignment on so many things that we're able to bring with this new administration.
When asked about reopening the Canadian border to the United States, the Prime Minister could not give a time frame. He says he hopes to see vaccinations ramp up first. The chorus of calls for the resignation of the South Dakota Attorney General continue tonight after he was charged in connection to a deadly crash. Jason Ravensburg was charged with 3 misdemeanors last week after authorities say he struck and killed Joe Boever as he was walking along Highway 14 near Highmore mid-September. South Dakota's Fraternal Order of Police, as well as the Chiefs and Sheriffs Associations, issued a joint statement saying, in part, Ravensburg's involvement has resulted in a lack of confidence in his ability to effectively carry out his duties as the chief of law enforcement officer in South Dakota. The case drew national attention after details, including that Boever's glasses were found in Ravensburg's car, were released. Ravensburg's spokesperson says he doesn't plan on resigning. Tonight, the country has a third weapon to battle the COVID-19 pandemic as the U.S. toll approaches 515,000. The FDA has given the green light to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and the company is ready to roll out millions of doses. This as President Biden pushes the Senate to swiftly pass his COVID-19 rescue package after the House okayed the plan. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has our story.
Johnson & Johnson says it's ready to roll out 3 to 4 million vaccines this week after the FDA authorized use of its one-dose shot. While one dose may appeal to many, health officials are urging Americans to get any vaccine they can.
All 3 of them are really quite good, and people should take the one that's most available to them.
Good news on the vaccine front as President Biden pushes the Senate to pass his $1.9 trillion COVID rescue package.
By the middle of March, 11 million Americans will lose unemployment insurance, so we need to move quickly and rapidly.
The White House says it's willing to negotiate with Senate Republicans, who overwhelmingly oppose what they say is a totally partisan bill.
They put forward a package which reflects the interest of the Democratic constituencies that elected the president.
The bill provides billions for reopening schools, stimulus checks, small businesses, and vaccine production. No House Republican voted for it.
It's become a Trump party. It's not a party of reason.
Former President Trump made his first major speech since leaving office at the annual CPAC conference Sunday, hinting he'll run again in 2024.
We began it together 4 years ago, and it is far from being over.
Meanwhile, President Biden says he will make a major announcement on Saudi Arabia Monday after a U.S. intelligence report found Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman approved the killing of journalist and U.S. President Jamal Khashoggi. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
And for more on the latest vaccine news, you can browse through our VNL vaccine tracker. Just open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen. Then tap the link that pops up. You can also find this link on our homepage. Numbers for the Minot Park District are shedding light on how many people were getting outside in the summer of the COVID-19 pandemic. Roosevelt Park Zoo had its best summer on record. City golf courses saw their third or fourth highest rounds of golf played, and outdoor trails and parks saw a big increase in use.
And we saw it in our trails and parks and things that were happening outdoors where people could spread out a little bit. They felt safe doing it, and they really used them a lot.
The Park District says they're making plans for more outdoor activities this year. The unusually warm weather has been favorable for many of us, especially for some ranchers. It's made some tasks like calving easier. But there's a new problem on the horizon. The lack of moisture could bring trouble for ranchers when it's time to put the cattle back in the pasture.
If we are going to delay the turnout onto our pastures by 2 weeks, we need to have the feed resources to manage those cattle.
Experts say the good news is the cattle market is trending up. Later on Valley News Live at 10, a Minnesota family is sharing their story in hopes a COVID vaccine comes sooner for kids. But first, March is just a few hours away and it's looking like we'll have some spring temperatures to go with it. Nathan Hopper will be back in with your forecast after the break.